what happens to what Terry Joel and other Manosphere guys are saying about dating girls in these option-based institutions where you get a girlfriend and then other girls start noticing you. These are actually girls who hit on married guys. They're actually rewarding girls for this kind of behavior because they're acting like floozies, or they're not committing to a relationship. They're just acting out on their impulses. It's what we call first order thinking. If you're really trying to beat things, use your head. You got to look past the first layer. So what my bro's talking about here makes total sense. And I know that you may be like, what are you talking about, bro? Well, I'll let you listen to it. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's a YouTube video. It's Headspace with Spiro. It's called Dating Collapse, How Modern Women Celebrate Disrespect and Why Men Will Opt Out. And this is not talking about the moral girls. We don't do that out here. We're out here talking about the ones that they're hitting on guys that have wedding rings and stuff like that. And this is often seen within dating culture, what they call options and stuff. Yeah, don't get into that because it's not building. You're not building relationships. You're just engaging in floozy and growing STDs basically, because when you're doing this number kind of stuff, they're all intermixing, and then the sexual stuff intensifies, as does the STDs and stuff. So
the disrespect is being rewarded. It is being rewarded, like a woman like that having a platform, getting the attention and validation, saying something like that. And even recently, when it comes to loyalty, I had unintentionally ran this experiment.
See that?
And I heard this kind of idea where women will flirt with men that have wedding rings. And I have a ring sometimes I'll wear on my pointer finger, but I decided to throw it on my ring finger. And I remember I walked into a
this is the options-based stuff.
Right then and there, the cashier was flirting with me, all over me, knowing that I had on this wedding ring, that she would probably have assumed that I was married. And when we say that women shouldn't be doing things like that, they shouldn't be talking to men who are married like that. They shouldn't be doing things in relationships, like going to nightclubs, going to bars, going to settings that really involve people just wanting to hook up. You're told that you are insecure. Meanwhile, the ironic thing is the insecure ones are the ones who engage in these kind of activities because you need attention and validation that roots from a place of insecurity.
And he's telling the truth, and that's empirically backed up here.
For the over the past decade, women in the United States and in Europe have been hyper-radicalized, probably from social media. We can see this in its more minimal effects, that is, the depression of young women when they don't get enough likes for their appearance.
They get depressed.
One phenomenon that we've experienced online is that young women will post a photo of themselves. If it doesn't get enough likes, they'll delete the photo and repost it. If they can't get enough likes, they get depressed. This has been recorded in scientific journals.
So, what he's saying is true. That's why I always tell the guys, be careful. Because when you're running into these opportunities, you're thinking in a completely temporal and a secular viewpoint. As a Christian, we know why we're not supposed to be doing this stuff. We know why we're forbidden to do these kinds of activities, because we know that they're not leading in the right place. And that's been historically founded. In fact, Terry Joel, he's big on this stuff. And he participates in this stuff. He'll tell you what it's like. It's a clown show out there. Because everybody's playing everybody. No one's taking anything serious. You can hear it from girls themselves that are in this hookup culture type framework. So if it was so successful as these dating coaches are claiming, then why are all these people having all these problems? Well, duh. Because it seems to be working that way, and then you find out, no, that's not exactly how it works. Is it? No, it's not. And if you look at Terry Joel's position, he's all depressed, and he's not feeling good, and he's getting sick, and he's going through all this stuff. Why do you think that is? Well, it's because the environment that he's put himself in is hostile. It's psychological warfare because everybody's competing against each other. You're not really living in peace. You're just living in this high competition base where everybody's playing the other, and you think that you're going to get something out of it, but the other one knows that you want that, so they're going to block it. So it's just this reciprocal type of nonsense that it's just a waste of time. You should be worried about this stuff. this, and you should be worried about your faith. I don't have my Bible right here, but I need to get it in here. You should be worried about your faith so you can be blocked from that stuff, because it's all perception. I'm telling you right now, these guys, these boys, they don't know. It's all about where your brain is. It's all about your habits and where you're placing yourself. And you'll notice right off the bat, when you get your head on straight, you'll hear this stuff and you'll be like, yeah, get out of here. I know what you're about. I know that you've been around a bunch of guys. I know what's going on. I know why you're behaving this way. I know about the options thing. I know about dating culture and hookup culture. I know about all these games and stuff, because we hear from the men that are going out there doing it. We hear from the girls. You can see it right here on YouTube front page. They'll brag about it. So don't tell me it's not going on. We know it's going on. So it's not that there's some kind of misogyny that's going on, or that there's some kind of, male abuse patterns going on. They brag about it. I'm serious. You can go on YouTube and you can see them play. You can see him play acting the role, like legs wide open, crotch wide open as a truck driver and stuff. And you're like, are you kidding me? So he's not lying. These boys, these MGTOW guys, they're not lying. You're gonna have a bunch of weirdos saying, "Oh, they're a bunch of misogynists and stuff." Just watch YouTube. Go to TikTok. Go listen to the girls themselves. Go to Twitter. You'll see them on there screaming about men, how much they hate men, and all sorts of weird stuff. So don't tell me this isn't going on. It's going on. But they put these poor boys down because they get it. They're out there on the field. They come back. They tell people what's going on, what they're experiencing, and generally people like Terry, he'll tell you what's going on out there, and it's not good, dude. They're not giving very good ratings on these girls and their behaviors. Let's just say it's not very good at all. So when Spiro comes on here and talks about this stuff, yeah, it's not good, dude. It is kind of a bash on women because they bash themselves. Who in the world gets on a video, opens their legs as a truck driver, and then is crying? And what, you're supposed to click on that, and then what? You're gonna find out that they're everything that these MGTOW guys are claiming? You gotta be kidding me. That's why I put it on ignore. I have uBlock, so whenever this stuff comes on my screen, my first response is to put that girl block, put her on the uBlock thing. Got the little zapper, you got the little what do they call that? The little dripper thing, and then click on it, go down, click it off, kick it out of there, dude. You build a good habit. And that way you're not bothered by this anymore. Yeah, she can go somewhere else, dude. But when you clean up and stuff, things change dramatically, don't they? Yeah, they do. So that's the thing that I would definitely say to my boys. The boys who can do this kind of stuff, who are getting on here and pointing this stuff out, and they're actually doing the right thing, and they're learning how to optimize out these kinds of they're almost like a polyamorous relationship, but they're like in the crowd kind of like debauchery type stuff. I don't know, a polyamorous type of debauchery. But the point is that they show disrespect. They don't have any respect for relationships or monogamy, or they just think it's some bygone era where you're just supposed to collect options so you can engage in this hedonistic nonsense. It doesn't involve. It's not about money. It's not about morality. It's not about anything. It's just like these instant gratifications things, and then you behave in a certain negative pattern, and then in that negative pattern, it's rewarded. Or your bad behavior is rewarded to keep playing these games. So, and when you play these games, and if you do it correctly, then you get rewarded with options. And then people are wondering why they're not getting any relationships going. They're wondering why people aren't getting married, or why people are having problems with loneliness epidemics and stuff. And or the disrespect with men who are out there buying rings, getting rings on their fingers. They wear these rings, and then they're getting other women hitting on them when they're married, because they have no respect for monogamy, no respect for relationships, no respect for the other partner, no respect for women, and it's training people to be evil. That's why I warn against it, because it's not moral training. It's not educating men or women in how to do the right thing. It's rewarding them on how to be players, and the bigger player you are, the more you're going to get options and more people around. The more disrespect, the more adultery and all this other crazy stuff that goes on. Then you get your options. Yeah, don't I tell these guys, don't play, don't be a player. Player just is just Player's just a code word for somebody who doesn't understand the answer to the variable. People who understand the answer to the variable answer the variable correctly, and then it works out for them. But people who don't know it, they kind of have to play a game so they can kind of wing it that way, because they're hoping that they'll be able to operate it in that way and that it'll work out for them and stuff. But in reality, it doesn't. All it does is end up in bad behaviors, and and then you no longer have any trust in women. Then you no longer have any trust in relationship, and you can no longer bond with the opposite sex because you become frustrated, you become angry with them and hostile towards them. Then you start developing all these trauma-based issues and emotional issues, and so what he's saying is true. Don't do it.